not gonna go for too much longer, only because I realize I'm at 28. And even though I have a box, I kind of like to save boxes. But if we get a lot of books, then that are just like talking segments, then I will keep going until at the end. Or this will be the last one, and I'll have one more fight, so it'll be either shorter. So we'll see. I don't tend to like to split these recordings up as much as I have been tonight, but this has been more precautionary. Normally when I'm splitting up recording, it's say I need to stop for the day and come back another time. I think it's this way. That's the only area with lights on. It says broadcast sector. Can someone tell me coming here was the right decision? All the other routes were blocked off, save for the one leading to this sector. Looks like we've ended up here one way or the other. Oh shit. We're checking something, so I clicked out. It's hard to see anything when it's this dark. Most of the power down, the power should be locked. Oop, nope. Just want to close the menu. Stop. Take another step closer and you'll be forcing our hand. The familiar voice boomed from the loudspeaker, delivering a sharp warning. This entire area is laden with security landmines. Even if you somehow manage to get past the minefield, you'll have to face the rest of us. I'm warning you, everyone in here is combat ready. And if you think you're stronger than us, you have self-destruct devices. Bombs filled with super mini saw teeth shrapnel. Hold on a second. What's this supposed to say? The heck? I thought my handwriting was bad. Oh, here. Throwing this bomb will result in an explosion that covers a 100-meter radius zone from the detonation point. Hey, that's a taboo violation, you know? At least try to come up with something actually convincing. Anyways, turn around and walk away right now, or we're going to bury all of you with this under this facility. We can hear everything, you know? It's highly probable that the bomb is a bluff, and any bomb that falls under the category of explosives must be planted on an object or a surface per the rules set by the head. And that boasts of the blast beggars belief such a wide radius is sure to break a bounty of bands and bounds. Sure, but I wasn't bluffing about the landmines. Take one more step forward and bolts of overcharged electricity will make barbecue out of you. As the voice behind the microphone began to grow increasingly irritated, it also became even more familiar. I was pretty sure I heard it somewhere before. According to Alyssa, Hohenheim should be around here somewhere. Wait, did you just say Alyssa? That voice, it seems we are not mistaken. Now I certainly recognize this voice. That voice I would rather not welcome tells me that these individuals are good to be let through. A voice Faust would rather not welcome tells Faust that these individuals are good to be approached. A heavy thunk, and then the doors of the broadcast sector instantly open, and before we could even take a proper look at the people holed up within. What? You guys, you should have told us sooner. Remember me? Ezra! We saw her just on, like, video call. Oh, this is Miss Ezra. We came face to face with Ezra, who video dialed us with a plethora of information on the Blood Fiends prior to our mission in La Mancha Land. Heard you saved the day in La Mancha Land. And all thanks to yours truly, I bet. So care to tell me which one's the Blood Fiend extraordinaire on your team? What? Oh, well, that's... Why don't we slip the pleasantries for now, Ezra? Moses! The next person to show up was Moses. I saw her in the video call, too. Team leader LCD, if memory serves right. Were you the one who threatened us with that nonsense about bombs, Ezra? I mean, what other choice did I have? We're all started to believe that there were only survivors out here. And then, bam, a dozen or so footsteps rushing into the sector out of nowhere. We couldn't even check who you guys were because the screens are all busted. Ezra gestured toward the blank surveillance screens in the broadcast sector with her chin. For your information, Mr. Genius over there is trying to fix the security cameras. He said it's going to take a while with the power outage, though. I didn't expect our paths to cross again for anything good, but I certainly never pictured it anything like this. Underneath the array of monitors Ezra pointed at, we found Hohenheim looking even more haggard than we remembered, who gave us a faint, unwelcoming nod as he fiddled with a tangle of power circuits. Hello, I'm relieved to see that there aren't any injured among you. Martin stepped forward and offered us the greeting Hohenheim chose to skip. In any case, you say it was Alyssa who let you know of our location. She's not with you. She must be either gravely wounded or already dead. She's badly hurt, yeah. We've been searching for ways to help her. Ishmael gave Hohenheim a blanched look as though she was taken aback by his cold certainty regarding his own subordinate's fate. Searching, you talk as if you're playing a game of a scavenger hunt. It might have been better to end her misery then and there. What? Haven't you seen how we handle things? She's still got a shot. Don't be so quick to throw in the towel. Please don't misunderstand. Some of these assailants, they seem to enjoy torturing their victims. That's what's keeping our boss on edge. Boss and I were near the laboratory when the attack started. There weren't many employees around, and the broadcast sector happened to be close by. Probably the only reason we were able to find cover here in one piece. Verily, young Alyssa shall persevere steadfastly. We have vowed to return and deliver her from death. Thank you. I'm sure Alyssa is hanging on to your promise. Sorry to break up this touching moment, but if you're here, that color fixer should be on his way too, right? Where the heck is he now? I wonder if he's already off to find the attackers. Ezra. Moses, who had been staring at Oda since we came in, turned her gaze toward Ezra. Team leader, if we can regroup within the Red Gaze, I think we'll have a more than enough fighting chance, even without our baby B. Baby B? Yes, but it would seem that the Red Gaze is not here with them. Just look at their faces is enough to confirm that. What? What the heck are you peeps doing here without him? Ezra's face immediately soured the moment she realized that Vergilus wasn't with us, her voice crashing over us like that of the most shrieky and uninvited guest barging into her home. It's not like we came here on our own because we wanted to. Guy Bud helped us held up by an assailant. Ryoshi said she's called the Thumb Nurse Father, from the House of Spiders. And probably a tough adversary too, just like those who were assaulting the facility. Her combat prowess is not to be underestimated. How is she compared to Eurylis from the Argus unit? Around the same level, I would say. Wait, if you know those names, that means Moses didn't grace Otis with a reply. Instead, she closed her eyes and seemingly lost in a brief reprieve. And soon returned to the subject at hand as if she was done sorting out her thoughts. Taran, is she taken hostage? How did you know that? You mentioned that attacker is in the singular. Perhaps just a slip of the tongue, but I suspect it was an single enemy, if not a small number. Furthermore, despite coming here without the bus driver, none of you seem particularly convinced that the Red Gaze would be able to quickly dispatch the assailant and join you. Give it to our team leader. Just one look is enough for her to figure it all out. Anywho, did you happen to encounter anyone on your way here? Just some Pectulas, mannequins. Wait a minute. Didn't we get to ask the questions? Don't we get to ask the questions? Ishmael barely managed to wrest control of the conversation amid the barrage of questions. You're both from LCD. What are you doing here in HQ where the LCE is? Well, about that. The LCE was supposed to make an important progress report today. Apparently, it's a really important presentation too. We've been receiving bazillions of reminders about it. It's about its mandatory attendance event and everything. Right, team leader? Feels like everyone's overlooking just how really busy our department is. Sorry to borrow your wording, but it is indeed a really important presentation. Yeah, for you maybe, but my department is also really... Hang on. I don't think that's the crux of the matter right now. The presentation did not happen. As such, we were unable to assess its importance at the moment. Whatever is the case, is the event was what required us LCD members to be present here at the LCE department. Sorry, I'm getting tired. Another reason why I might need to call it. And there's one more thing. Allow me to introduce the newest addition to the LCD. Yeah, our team has grown in size. Take that. I was told you'd met before. Familiar silhouette stepped before from the opposite side, someone we did not expect to encounter here of all places. I did not expect to see you almost ever again, actually. I'm shook. That's super cool. Or if anything, I thought it would be like a reprise or a new intervallo that the Blade lineage showed up again, or dealing with Kurokuma again. Granted, I think we're out of their territory, so probably not. But very cool. I regret that you must always meet in the midst of plight such as this. I trust you have been well. It's Angdun. It's been so long. Is Mr. Bamboo-Hatted Kim still in recovery? My mentor's flesh has long since healed, but it will take some time until his mind regains its former tranquility. However long the wait, endure it I must. Oh, right. They were actually fixing him. Honestly, it'd be really cool to... If there is a later point where he is fully healed and we get to actually meet him as a non-distortion. I have faith that he will recover in due time. Until then, in silence, shall I atone for the transgression I have committed. Andun appeared to be referring to how she ran Bamboo-Hatted Kim through with her sword under the monolith's distorting influence. Still, I'm glad you seem to be adjusting well to life at LCD. Sinclair caught the shadow of a flicker across Andun's face and swiftly stepped in to lighten the mood. I would say I was taken in, but I am deeply grateful regardless. My mentor and I have nowhere left to call home. But someday we will. Return to Escorp together. Looks like she's trying her best to fit in, too. It's always hard to get settled in no matter where you start from. Now that we've all grown acquainted with one another, let us move on to the issue at hand. The first order of business is intelligence sharing and deductive reasoning based on the available information. My team and I were attacked in the hallway connected to the conference hall. That guy was, I'll be straight with you, super duper strong. I would have stood my ground if only Hornet, that dumbass, were here. By Hornet, you are referring to the junior of our team, but he's really strong. He's so strong that, I got it. There was this time when I, what was I getting? Some kind of pastry, I think. Anywho, I got some bread to snack over, and then in a split second my back was turned. Hornet, that asshole, swiped it right off my plate. I got so pissed that I punched him right in the solar plexus to get him to cough it up, and he just went oof and swallowed my bread anyway. Like, does that make any sense to you guys? Yeah, okay. I guess that makes him strong. Although Erza's anecdote wasn't very illuminating, none of us bothered to ask for further clarifications, as it seemed like the only way to get an objective measure of for its strength was to let her or punch us in the solar plexus as well. So what's this hornet up to now? Ishmael peeked around as though she was expecting him to pop out from the hiding spot in the broadcast sector. Oh, you're gonna lose your mind when you hear this. Listen up. What he's not yet, Ersa. Up to it's a secret. It's classified stuff. Here's what trails off awkwardly. I tend to analyze my enemies with observation and deduction. I try to identify their unique colors, the kinds of weapons they use, their methodologies, whether they enjoy the slaughter or avoid it, their attitudes toward the battle, all of it. Once I have that, I can get an idea of where to begin my counterattack or what kind of weakness this is of theirs I can exploit, and that's how I've usually opened my path forward. But Moses inhaled sharply as though she missed her smoking pipe, which was nowhere to be seen at this moment. It was chaotic. I could not identify a single pattern in his behavior. He is an empty shell. His act of killing lacks any emotional touch. And that is why you couldn't get a read on him. On the other hand, you appear so clearly to me. You seem so anxious to cut something down that is that correct? You are broken, shattered, but every shard is keen and transparent, like a hail of small blades. A glass-like sword of many edges, so fragile with its futile wish to sever away what cannot be severed. What is that you grasp so tightly in that scarred hand of yours? Little shit, what are you peeking into? Hey, don't talk to our team leader like... Just as Erzo was about to give her stern warning, Hohenheim stepped in and changed the subject. To add to that, Martin and I were in the front of the laboratory when it occurred. At first it began with the sound of rushing wind, something very large and heavy cleaving through the air. The kind of sound one should never come to expect from a department like ours so full of delicate machinery and containment units. It happened right before my eyes. Something snapped the employee who was walking only a step ahead of me in half. And the first thing that came to my mind was that did an abnormality breach containment? But if such were the case, an alarm should have gone off. So far, this tracks with what Miss Lissa told us. She said that there wasn't any warning at all before the attack. Once I got a better look of what that was, I realized it was neither abnormality, pectula, nor distortion. It was a massive scabbard. When I looked toward where the scabbard came from, there stood a man who presumably threw the weapon, reading a book like he was out on a stroll. And the book was... Matthias. He must have been reading his book of vengeance. First the thumb, and now the middle. I stared at him, still processing what had just happened, when the boss grabbed my arm and started running. He couldn't look back. I heard screaming from dozens of people, but... You seem to be fond of recounting unnecessary details. Only after arriving here at the broadcast sector did I remember that Alyssa was still out there. When one's life is at risk, the brain is instinctively reduces the processing of the information to the bare minimum required for survival. It is only natural. But I was the last person who handled that research proposal, boss. Alyssa should have been at the conference hall too, with us. Hey, listen, if you want to look back and nitpick at literally every little thing you did in the past, we're gonna be here forever. I know it might sound like a bit of an empty platitude, but focus on what we can do right now, what we're going to do forward, okay? You'll have time for regrets later. I suppose so. You did say my boss once, so I guess it's only right that I should have more faith in you people than anyone else. I would like to clarify that the saving was but a part of an experiment, but given the urgency, I will forgo a more detailed explanation. Looks like we've all caught up. Good. Now let's share what we know. Let's begin laying out the situation with the expertise benefiting a leader of the LCD. Today, intruders attacked the LCD department situated at the basement of the HQ. We lost control of the entire LCE facility, and save for the current location, every sector has been neutralized by a single or pair of intruders. A survivor who's conscious enough to communicate properly is already here. After the attack, every containment unit was also forcibly unlocked, adding even more fuel to the fire. We are behest by foes on every side. A search for a foothold is a difficult one indeed. Darn, if only these surveillance cameras weren't busted, I'd love to be able to keep track of their whereabouts. Repeated many times a day, we are attempting to bring back to operational status. You speak of restoring a sabotaged power grid like a task as simple as wiping one's glasses. More than anything, we need these two pieces of information at present. One, who are the attackers? Two, what objective brought them to the LCE? The man we encountered seemed to have one-track minds, squarely set on killing as ordered. But there are far too many threads that point toward a motivation more complex than infiltrate the facility and slaughter its employees with abandon. Muzzle's deduction aligned with Otis's. If the assailant's goal were truly nothing more than a slaughter, their first order of action should have been to unlock the containment units first. The intruders are, yes. I have enough evidence to at least get a general idea of whom they might be. Do elaborate. There's the thumb nurse father who's stalling the red gaze. Then there's the member of the middle who's attacked the researcher. We've seen evidence of the ring's involvement too, given the presence of corpse mannequins. At least two or more fingers are involved in this attack. The thumb, the vile cur the Kurokumo serves are here. Yet this is quite odd. Lady Moses, are the fingers not hostile against one another? Those ilk have no business coming within even a sleeve's breadth of each other, save when compelled to attend assemblies such as the Finger Bobel, where they often quarrel to no end. Correct, but consider this from the opposite perspective. There must be something of enough importance for the officers of each finger to put aside their differences and work hand in hand. Spiders, or the nurse fathers of the House of Spiders. That's what they're called. And we've just snared ourselves into the web they've spun. The fingers rarely ever cross the line they've drawn between each other. The strange entertainment certainly is a deviation. Nurse fathers was it? Seems like a terrible, meaningful title to me. Then it can be presumed that the House of Spiders is a place to raise something or someone, to have such a high-ranking officers of each finger gather at one place to nurture someone. One might think that it hardly makes any sense, and indeed it doesn't. But what if their purpose itself is just as outrageous? That would paradoxically explain how they come to gather. Ryoshu, is it? You seem to be inextricably tied to that place. IKWYW. I know what you want? I actually called it! She just said, I know what you want. No need, I can understand her abbreviations. But I can't tell you what I know because it's all broken. The places and memories attached to it, I can see how they've shattered. You don't have to recall everything. All I need to know is what the outrageous purpose is. What is it? Me. To forge me into a blade that cuts through all. But I left that place behind. Ryoshu, can you tell us anything more? Shame, but that's all I have, Cluck. I don't remember much more than that. Even if I did, it's not an easy thing to speak of. Ryoshu let out a protracted sigh just as Moses did earlier, a protracted exhalation of someone who clearly craved a puff of smoke. It betrayed the aloofness she protected. Come to think of it, Ryoshu hasn't been smoking at all since we got here, or maybe since the truck. Clock, like she said, and like what you've seen, my mind is a mess. I have questions of my own, but the answers elude me. But maybe the pieces can be put together using your hints. like the one you gave me earlier. So we have to solve this together, this puzzle, or this game of escape room. Ryoshu muttered placidly. If it is you the House of Spiders want, then I must ask you to entertain this question. Why did they bother attacking the HQ? Oh. As Monza began her explanation, Ryoshu looked in her direction with a mild amusement. When you said you left the House of Spiders, I presume you meant you escaped it. Members of different fingers are hardly the kind of people to fraternize even on a good day, but this alliance of sorts they call the House of Spiders has persisted even after your departure. At a glance, it may only appear that they were simply waiting for your return. But given their behaviors today, they don't strike me as a particularly patient group as a whole. In other words, I find it suspicious that they decide to act now. If they were desperate, they would have made the move long ago. This leads me to believe that they were waiting for the right time. Whichever is their motive, Ryoshu, whether it is getting you back or doing something else, the fact remains that they have chosen this particular moment to act. The nurse father of the House of Spiders we encountered, she made way for us so that Ryoshu could come to the HQ research facility. She harbored such intense and complicated feelings for Ryoshu, but I don't think I got any sense that she was trying to kill or take Ryoshu with her. But she said that the nurse fathers were waiting for me here. Clearly they're here to see me. Weirdo detective. Alright? You. Hey, what the hell's your problem? Be calm, please. It's best we do not interrupt their conversation. In an intense dialogue, shall they find and draw out the answer. Let us not dare stem this course. Is a fair assumption that the nurse father, others of the House of Spiders, have attacked this place to provoke you. However, I can't seem to shake the thought that they must have a distinct objective. If they were indeed after Ryoshu and only Ryoshu, they chose a specific time and place hardly seems to serve that purpose. The intervals between each of the sinners are different, but once the sinner's turn ends, another's begins, every single time without failure. This case has everything to do with Ryoshu. I believe without a shred of doubt that it's her turn. Once the sinners relayed my words, Moses fell on a brief contemplation and began to mutter a sequence of words. Limbus company, the mirror, the glass window, the 4x Corp extracted ego, alkaphin, and psychomens, abnormalities, monoliths, sinner Ryoshu. I can't think of too many things in the LCE research facility that could be what the House of Spiders is after. For process of elimination, only a reasonable answer can be deducted as it follows. They're here for the golden balls. So that's how it is. Moses is right. It's become very important for us to look for Ryoshu's past to reach in and see what lies there, but the LCB's goal is its journey and its stories have all been bound to the same terminus as obtaining the golden balls. Hohenheim, where are all the golden balls in this facility located? The manager would like to know the location of the golden balls. It's at the laboratory in this facility. Hohenheim's gaze turned to me. Perhaps he was looking at the clock hands on my head. Very well. I suppose there's no way around sharing the contents of our presentation. Hohenheim's answer sounded more like a prolonged sigh. It was a presentation regarding our progress in the golden ball experimentation. In the limited group of individuals with the clearance to access the contents of that presentation does not include members of the LCB. Oh wait, aren't we the ones risking our necks out here trying to collect those balls? How are we not allowed to? I am not the one who decides the scope of our security. Hohenheim, your concern is understandable. The company maintains tight control over any information regarding the golden balls. There is no way to know at this moment what the consequences of leaking this information without the company's explicit consent might be. If worse comes to worse, we may even be subject to a memory wipe procedure. Unbelievable. We're stalled by some red tape to an exigent circumstance like this. What do you expect from a company's practical built on secrecy and suspicion. Anyway, assuming the risk of divulging this information are understood and accepted by all parties present, let me get straight to the point. The golden balls, we were experimenting with grafting the retrieved golden balls onto one another. Grafting the balls. Then was the purpose to combine the balls to form a singular tree? Nothing slips by a fellow researcher, I suppose. Correct. We are incubating the golden balls from under a very special environment to create a sapling. We have yet to manage to graft them together into a proper tree, no, but that horizon is in sight. Today was the day that we were to share the successes of our experiment with certain major characters and teams within the company until this happens. The golden balls are at a laboratory, Then we have to get to the laboratory before they do and secure the golden balls. But we can't just waltz out on our own when the whole place might be crawling with enemies, right? Is there any way we can get in touch with the HQ right now? Did HQ even receive your support request? We did send a rescue signal to HQ an hour ago, and we have knowing whether it was received. The attackers destroyed all of our outgoing transmitters earlier. As long as they received a signal, any signal, it shouldn't take long until they recognize the LCA is under attack by an overwhelming force. Assuming that the LCA is sent to support units, do we have an estimate of how long it might take for them to arrive? Even if they have to navigate around the inaccessible passages currently present in the facility, it should be no more than 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Then they should have been here already. They have either failed to receive the transmission, or a power outage has trapped the reinforcements in the elevators. Yeah, if it weren't for Miss Solid bringing us up to speed, we would have thought of using the back door to come straight into this facility. If that's the case, then we need only to reboot the power or divider in the facility management room. Hey, Mr. Brigbrain, if we want to restore this department from the shutdown state, we gotta take out all the distortions and abnormalities sauntering about, right? In order to perfectly restore the facility, yes, this place has been designed to be quarantined from every other department if even a single abnormality has escaped to its hallways. And are you sitting around putting up our heads together, right? Then you guys are scared of some abnormality or distortion? Leave it to us. We'll kick their butts. Nobody said they're scared. I'm just saying we could benefit from practicing a bit of caution. It would be wise to prioritize restoring power to the facility. It seems that these attackers are making effective use of the dark. I see. Second Manager, I'm of the opinion that we must split our forces in order to facilitate our operation, given the urgency of the situation. Honestly, I agree. That was my thought of, okay, one group's gonna have to go restore power, another group is gonna have to go start toward the laboratory for the golden balls. The situation looks rather pressing for us to sit here and waste our time. I'm debating what to tackle first. Once I nodded in agreement, Otis quickly took control of the situation. Listen up, men, we are prepared for two things, reconnaissance and extraction. Extraction? You mean escape? Assuming that the LCA support will arrive, it will only serve to best move in tandem with them to improve chances of launching a joint attack with numerical advantage over our enemies. Also, we have to stay immobile. We have held this position for too long. Our enemies will methodically kill and comb through the entire facility until they find what they're looking for. The more we remain stationary, the more likely we are to encounter them, and that will only elevate the risk of total obliteration. Makes sense. Besides, the others here ain't like this. Once they get killed, it's over for them. Another thing, don't forget that we have to reach the golden balls before our enemies do. Whichever we end up prioritizing, we don't get anything done by staying holed up in here. Very well. Then if we are able to leave this place at the same time, we should prioritize. We have many pressing tasks. As I have explained, the golden ball retriever, facility power restoration, the facility management room to restore the power to the facility, the laboratory, and the area with the damaged circuitry are all located far from each other. We divide and conquer, securing the golden ball, restoring power, and suppressing abnormalities to clear a path for the reinforcements. They're all equally important and must be resolved. Concomitant independently, and to do so, we must split into squads based on our expertise. Yeah, alright, righty. We work better as separate units anyway. The LCB will be in charge of securing the golden ball, as our executive manager here has the ability to detect it whenever they are in the proximity of them. Oh, kind of like a metal detector? How dare you compare the executive manager to let that one slide, given the urgency. Anyway, we'd like to leave the abnormality distortion and pectoral expression to the LCD. Gotcha. That's totally our bread and butter. How many difficult abnormality distortion do you have contained in this facility? Combatants of your power should have no trouble suppressing most of them, save for two, however. That might pose some trouble. Take these micro-communications with you. We use these to communicate between laboratories. While they has limited range, it should be useful enough for relaying the suppression tactic for each entity you come across. Perfect. We've secured a means of communication. As we're restoring the facility power, I'd like to designate to task the LCE personnel here. I presume you're best acquainted with the layout of the facility. Out of all of us, a reasonable choice, the layout of this facility is more complicated than it might have first appeared to you. That is indeed one way to describe abysmal cable management. Please consider it but a representation of the entropic escalation phenomenon. Despite the way it looks, the setup is quite stable. Martin gave a handful of tiny radios to Otis, who distributed them to each of us. Very well. Don't forget to keep each other updated. The acid stench of smoke I'd rather leave buried in the past keeps coming back. Another one! My throat might give out. Don't forget the golden balls are kept within a preservation container. Take extra care when you handle it. Okay, we've been working our butts off to retrieve those shiny twigs, too. We know enough about their work to not throw them around willy-nilly. Gregor's comment did nothing to deter Hohenheim, who kept voicing his warning again and again. Alright, lab's that way. The facility management room is... Ezra was tracing the available routes to guide the LCD team members who arrived with Moses. Walters crept down the corridor, alert for any dangers lurking in the shadows. What was that? There's a wall dropping down. Hey, watch out, you guys. The corridor was thrown into complete chaos. Sinclair, this way. Huh? I can't. It's too far. Is everyone alright? It would seem that the quarantine system designated for abnormality container breaches had just been activated. Marisol, who had been standing close by, replied in a monotonous voice. Jesse said that when I looked around, that was close. That was nearly all flattened us into pancakes. We were but a breath away from disaster. Shabby thing. Huh? W-O-T. Just when I didn't think it could get any worse, it did. Waste of time. Where's Ryoshu, by the way? Manager Iskar, where art thou? Sinclair and Don Quixote were desperately calling out from the other side of the wall. Hey, I think this is the first time we've ever been so completely separated from Dante. Then we can't even afford to get hurt. I don't see any abnormalities around. Now that they've taken over the security wall controls, too, they've effectively forced us to split up. Not to worry, Executive Manager, this is only a minor setback. Allow me to assume command of this unit for the time being. Hello, that's the first thing you're worried about? Shouldn't you be more concerned about Dante? This has been growing into quite a predicament. Hohenheim let out a heavy sigh. Are you alright, team leader? I am. At least we have no injured among us. After all that planning, we ended up getting separated into completely random teams. Let's first check who we have on each side. Okay, it's me, Marisol, Gregor, Yisong here, and also Ryoshu. We got the detective, Miss Andun, and me over here, and Ishmael, Roja, and me, Otis. Otis too. As for us, Martin and the assistant, LCE team members, and the rest. The rest of whom speakest thou? It is a phrase used by the individuals who find it especially difficult to acknowledge their betters. Okay, I know it's fucked situation right now, but Faust having Sasser Hohenheim at every opportunity is just... I showed that I had her at D with my tier list, if I remember to keep that part in. Or don't just axe it entirely. But she's like my lower level, but the sass for Hohenheim really just bumps her up so much higher. Me, Don Quixote, and Faust. There was no chance we could get the security wall out of her way, even with our combined effort. The master key doesn't work either. It should be able to override the lockdown, but even the LCE wasn't having any luck on their side. There has been a minor deviation, but it can't be helped. Advanced according to plan. This unit, the LCD included, will neutralize any hostiles within the facility, one threat at a time. We'll assist you with finding the trail as soon as we're done repairing the security cameras. Acknowledge, the LTE and Hohenheim's team will secure the facility management room and prioritize restoring power. As our executive manager and team proceed to the laboratory for the golden ball retrieval. Figure 10 doing the fighting, what a pain. Alrighty, off we go. Oh! They mentioned Faust, Sinclair, and Don Quixote. Did they forget to mention Heath, or was he knocked the fuck out? Like, what? You can see Ishii, Hong Lu, Otis, and Roja on the left, and then it's Sinclair, Heath, Don Quixote, and Faust is also supposed to be on the right. I will take the lead, the rest of you follow me. And with that, Otis and the LCD, his footsteps faded into the distance on the opposite side. We should get moving too, although I think just Martin and my assistant here will be enough to restore power to the facility management room. There seems to be a lack of proper structure in the generation and distribution of electricity here. It's regrettable that the facility lacks backup mechanism to handle unforeseen emergencies of this sort. With the breadth of my responsibilities, it's only natural that I would have been too busy to be responsible for the facility's design. However, when viewed independently, the structure of this laboratory itself is, for thyself not over so trifling matter, young Heathcliff? She's right. With the three of us together, there will be able to overcome whatever obstacle that gets in our way. Probably. The voices of Hohenheim and the other sinners also slip further away into the background. Should we get a move on too? Let us know if you sense the golden balls, Manager Bud. Okay. Two smokers of the group ended up on the same team. What are the odds? I'll never know how the others managed to pull through these working conditions without taking a puff. There was a time when I partook, but I could not find any reason to maintain the habit. I didn't reread Madden's book, especially since I think he's next too. But I do remember him smoking quite a bit. Oh, there was? What did you smoke? Most things that fall under the category of cigarette. After a whole year of watching you never walking a line, I paid you as one hell of a straight-laced fella. He did go clubbing, though, apparently. I partook in both categories of activities, those generally accepted as right and those accepted as wrong. During my time at the Old League of Nine Literature, I once had an opportunity to engage in a few hits of the substance at the behest of my fellows. That was the one and only time. Everyone burst out into laughter, though I found no enjoyment in smoking itself. That's always the case for the first-timers. Must have been pretty intense, huh? What about you, Mr. Ishu? When did you first start smoking cigarettes? Every pair of eyes searched Ryoshi's face, but she didn't bother telling us her story, nor did she reveal any signs of unease or anxiety. I saw on her face was inexplicably exhilaration, thrill, and as strange it may seem, a fury chilling to the marrows. Beats me. I've always been surrounded by cigarette smoke, ever since I was a brat. Wouldn't have guessed in any other way. It's your turn this time, isn't it? Yeah, so damn obvious that it makes me scoff. How do you feel, Miss Ryoshu? To be faced with the past that stands before you. Simple. It's exciting. All that waiting finally paid off. I noticed you haven't smoked once since this whole thing began, Ryoshu. Right. Trying to get used to staying off it. Meanwhile, back at the transporter truck. Red Gaze never thought of you, of all people, would have one. Funny, isn't it? The mighty and the powerful Red Gaze loses this tiny bundle of liability from his clutch, and he's suddenly too scared to even swing his sword right. I mean, she says that, but she's a lot more bloodier than when we left, and he looks the same amount of bloody for the most part. Not that I don't understand to have an unwanted burden you can't even push aside or kill off shoved into your care. I know what it's like all too well. Well, I suppose I did want the little thing back then, but I never expected her to be such a nuisance. Lucio's been digging around, and looks like you don't have any connection whatsoever to this half-pint here. Could it be that you've got a specific use for her? Explain that you need her for something. Explains why you're letting that dead weight tag along. Perhaps she's like my ticket, or textbook over there. Pain in the ass you'd much rather kill off, but can't because you need to make the future you long for come true. We sure have a lot in common, don't we? I know why you're provoking me with that pointless rambling. Your friends are out on a mission, and you're making sure I don't get in the way till you get the all clear. However, just because my sword isn't cleaving across your throat doesn't mean I won't collect your little lackey's head. Keep that in mind. This should be interesting. Do your worst. I'm curious to see how long the textbooks I so painstakingly crafted for my ticket will last against a fixer, aren't you? Shit, I kind of wish I didn't hit go forward on there. Because I'm a little... One of the lines she said that has me like, huh? Can I go back? Theater. Fuck! I hate when they do a patch. A midway patch. Granted, it's probably for a reason. Ryosha seems like the one to be most eager for for her chapter to be happening right now. Because she even says the thing of that she's almost been waiting for it, but her memories are fractured. But the thing that she says is trying to get used to staying off of it, which suggests that I think Saru is probably the name of her child, and that's the only thing she does remember, and that's why she did react to Lei Hang. Like, that's the one thing she knows, and she doesn't smoke around kids, so she actively knows she will need to be not smoking fairly soon. Because if it is her turn, then she should be encountering her child. And it's probably what she's been looking for. And whatever she had to get away from it, potentially the goal of her mind and the goal of joining Limbus company as a whole was to sever or maybe destroy the House of Spiders. Because it sounds like the House of Spiders is this organization separate from the rest of the fingers. They are the fingers themselves or the members of the Fingers have been hired by the house to work within, or to essentially raise up Ryoshu. There's a mention by Gyakui to that of like Ryoshu becoming an Ashura, so something of that effect even. At least this one. Right. Where's Royer? Not having the Lord of Hong one makes it so much worse. Ha. God, I hope this is fine. We keep running into these mannequins. Are they made by those nurse fathers? Yes, to be more specific, it's just the ring nurse father. Corporism, an art movement that utilizes the interaction between human bones and muscles, the contraption and elongation thereof, with a splash of cubist technique, it seems. Nasty. Observe closer. Do you see them? Writings carved into their bodies. These corpses were engraved with wild scrolls of messages carved with a blade. They began shuffling at us with an uncanny rhythm, entirely devoid of any semblance of will. Dearest daughter of ours, please pay close attention to the will of the line curves. To the way the line curves. From ribs we make blades keener than any sword. From femurs we make bludgeon stronger than any mace. The thoracic cage has taken the prepossessing, yet hardly a shape of an arch to keep the heart and lungs from harm. Preserve the natural beauty of the human corpse and do not infringe upon its primeval precise value. That is the reverence with which the act of creation must be handled, such as musicians handle the priceless instrument. Touch it if you will. Do your fingertips feel the contour of the blade among the grains of musculature, its tendons and suins? Yoshihide. The bones most desperate for life, have become blades best fit to reap it. Indeed it has, hasn't it? I knew for the fatness of my heart that you could appreciate the true value of this piece, Yoshihide. The care put into this piece I have so painstakingly burnt into the world is greater than that of any other work of mine. The smallest fracture of imbalance could instantly render it useless. Once this piece is complete, dearest Yoshihide, I would like for you to wield it. I will. Never got to finish that precious piece he always rambled about, did he? Yoshi muttered to herself. What is happening? Well, unfortunately, I think that patch may have fucked me. I'm gonna just give it another shot. Maybe if I skip the dialogue? Okay.
어쩌겠지. 잘 생각해보라고.
내 뒤로.
카론, 기다리는 거 못해. 100초만 기다려줄게.
기꺼이.
Damn.
그쪽 방향이 아닐 텐데.
회풍.
어라? 저쪽에 비틀거리시는 분이 보이네요. 이만 편히
일기당장.
잡혀드릴까요?
For a second, I got really confused why I heard Hong Lu, and then I remembered, oh right, he's my announcer.
전탄격발.
It's like, I
나라도
don't have Kong Q here.
테지.
Kong Lu here.
이만하면 훌륭하지. 확실히 훌륭하군. 5번 수감자. 덕분에 위험한 순간도 넘어간 적이 많다지.
답봉창.
승객이 딱콩 한 방 먹였어.
사정없이 몰아칠 테니.
이 풍진 세상에서 힘껏 살아가느라 수고 많으셨어요. 이제 모든 짐 놓으셨으니
자, 어느 쪽일지 잘 생각해보라고.
Damn.
적질났나?
Damn.
대성공이야. 카론 신나. 노래 부를까?
흩어져. 찾지 못하. 내 뒤로.
모든 것에 견뎠어.
우와, 카론도 깜짝.
기꺼이.
Damn. Menu might end up staggered also. Yep. Damn it.
다소 즐겁군.
Fucking red coins.
내 뒤로. 사정없이 몰아칠 테니.
다들 첫 여정을 시작했을 때보다 정말 강해지셨네요.
답봉창.
매일 보아왔는데도 지금은 감회가 새로워요.
총알값 아까울 놈은 아니군. 밖에서 맡고 있는 꼴을 보니 그다지 유쾌하진 않군. 관리자, 수감자
Okay.
무방비하게 만들.
Die. Okay, I thought we were good, and then that happened. God damn it.
답봉창.
도착했어.
내 뒤로. 답봉창.
그간의 전투 경험이 쓸모가 없진 않았군요. 단테.
깔끔하게 물었군.
Okay.
끝이었습니다.
Managed anyway. Not sure why. The game had that weird visual bug.
나를 계속 고용해라. 홍원의 여러 협